Okay.
But that's like the reason I don't think of it in those terms. I don't say, okay, if I'm under contract, I come to work. It's not like I debate that fact. I'm under contract until I'm fired.
But the other day, he told us there would have to be some conversations.
Yeah, I think he needs to have some space after managing right now, just to get his thoughts together. Remember that he's a general manager.
So he hasn't said yay or nay to revisit what he said about Stanton.
There was no question.
Okay.
Right, we didn't ask a question.
Okay.
It was a declarative statement that was made, not an interrogative.
Why is he not here today?
He is starting to, and you're going to see that. He's home. He's decompressing. Which is right. There's no change. There was no power. All the stuff that was read or that's being talked about isn't the case. There's no power struggle. There's no division. There is nobody angling to take the general manager title away from Dan, because the fact is Mike Hill is the one. If you want to talk about sort of who's the general manager of our team, it's always been Mike Hill. It was Larry Weinfest before, and now it's Mike Hill, no matter what their titles were. Mike was the assistant GM in theory when he was the GM.
Assuming he does return as GM, would he retain the same power?
Everything is the same. Dan has no authority to make a decision, and I would say that Mike Hill doesn't, and I don't. Jeffrey is the ultimate owner, has all the power, but Jeffrey hears from his group, and decisions are made. And that's how it's always been. And Dan's been a part of that, and he was not a part of it while he was managing, because he was managing. Now he's going back to being a part of it.
But their relationship was strained over the course of the season when he was a manager.
Yeah.
So do they have to like kind of?
No, I don't view it that way. I think that it's a different relationship that a manager has with an owner than a general manager has with an owner. It's just different. You view things differently. When you evaluate those people differently. So I mean, they've been very close for 14 years. So I don't expect anything like that to change.
What's your view on how he did as a manager in that role?
I think that he did the best he could, given the fact that he was put in a less than ideal situation. I don't know that he had he did not have the full ability, in my opinion, to succeed. And that made it very tough for him.
Is that based on his lack of experience?
I think that there were a lot of factors. I think the fact that he was coming from the front office, the fact that it had never been done, the fact that he came in the middle of the season, the fact that he was responsible for both putting players on the field and then what he did with them on the field. It's why you don't see a general manager combination, because that's very difficult.
So in retrospect, it was something that
as I look back, I mean, this is obviously the money shot you're asking, right? Do we regret doing what we did? Yeah. I think it's hard to say that I don't, because it did not have the desired result on the field. It did not accomplish what we expected it to accomplish. So do I regret coming to that conclusion? Yes, I do. I regret everything that doesn't work.
Manager with some experience.
Well, no, it didn't. It's hard during the season. We meant it when we had the press conference in May. The reason we put Dan in there is we thought it was the right move.
But didn't you wonder how the players would respond to such an unorthodox move?
It's funny. We did, and we talked about it. And Dan, knew that challenge immediately. It was a real challenge.
One of the things that players appreciate in all sports is a coach or a GM that puts them in the best. A coach or a manager puts them in the best chance to win. By putting Dan in there when you did, do you think it gave the players the best chance to win?
All that happened because there was so much injury and underperformance prior to May 15th, and we did not see it going the right direction. Would we have expected at that time that Giancarlo would play 74 games? No way. Did we know at that time for sure that Latos was going to be completely unproductive? Not really. Did we know for sure that Morse would be completely unproductive? I don't think we knew for sure those things. So we thought that Dan's voice, who had a relationship with all these players, he knew them all. So to me, they're in the best position to win by getting out there and doing their job. That's what their job is.
What sort of marching orders do you have from Jeffrey on what kind of manager he wants?
So we're trying a different approach, right? We're not going saying, okay, we want someone fiery, okay, we want someone old, okay, we want someone young. And that's how we had done it in the past. We had always gone exactly opposite. And I've been reading other organizations.
Dolphins just did that.
So it's what you do, right? You tend to go from someone who's fiery and intense, and then you go for someone a little more laid back when you fire that person. Then you fire that person, and you go for someone who's fiery and intense. That's generally how many organizations do it, and it has not worked for us doing that. So what we decided to do this time, and at Jeffrey's thought, and Mike totally agreeing, is best candidate. Treating it like the draft, where you draft best available, not by position.
David, and it seems the game, saying you move more analytics as well, that manager is going to really kind of be on the same page. You know, they don't necessarily want a lineup card put down that they don't agree with. So how much is that going to be?
So we're not going to be. There are teams. So I've heard. I have no proof of this, but I hear there are teams where upstairs does the starting lineup and just presents it to the manager and says, "This is your lineup for Tuesday." I don't know if that's true, but if it is, that is not a way that we would go. So when we talk about building an analytics department, it's just giving Mike more information. It's giving the manager more information. It's not to insist on certain ways of doing things.
But how important is that dynamic that they kind of are thinking the same?
I think I think every manager who we're interviewing, one of the questions we talk about is their view of analytics and making sure their philosophies are aligned with ours.
David, in all your time here, there's been one seismic shift in the front office when Larry was let go and Mike and Dan were promoted from within. You got a number of managerial changes. How many at-bats does the front office get before, they see, it seems to be that there's always pointing to the manager's office and saying, you're the problem, we're not. But the front office gets one at-bat after another.
Yes. It's very difficult to believe that we keep getting all these chances from Jeffrey. We have taken the prime of many players' careers and not performed the way we wanted to, and we have another core in place now, and we don't want to make that same mistake. I'm not sure that we'll have an option to do it a time after this. All of us. I think that when he looks at our he looks at empty seats, he looks at team performance, he looks at the job I do and is not happy, and he looks at the job that the baseball people do and is not happy. But then he sits down and turns the page, and he's not happy with the results, but he's happy with the process.
You said that last time. This might be our last chance.
And it's still, but it's not over. I mean, that's the thing. This is not that we've pressed a reset button. We still believe in the same core, and so does Jeffrey, so he believes in us. What we did wrong this year, and we sort of danced around it on the press conference, we made the wrong decisions for the people surrounding our core. That's the bottom line. So we have to make new decisions surround the core. We made it right with D, and now I count D as a core, not adding to the core.
Sure.
But the moves that we made to complement our core to win more than 77 didn't work, right? So we're going to have new players.
Last year you were 77 games you won. It was a 15-game improvement.
Yeah.
With the wild card was 87 wins. This year it's 97 wins to get in the playoffs and just slightly less to win the division. Are you optimistic you'll be able to have enough talent?
I think when you look at the NL East, we think we are in a position. Obviously, you look at the Mets, and you don't want to talk about another team, but you certainly look at who they throw out there every day. On 60 feet 6 away, it's impressive 5 days in a row, and we'd like to get to that point too. And you look at what some teams have acknowledged they're rebuilding in our division, looking forward to their new ballpark, or just doing a rebuild. So we're in a position where we think this is our time. We have in our mind, and maybe we're wrong, we have 3 of the top 10 players in baseball on our team. Maybe we're wrong, but we feel that way. Stanton, Jose, and D. If we had argued today, they're 3 of the top 10 players.
David,
That's good.
Going back to the ballpark again, do you have sort of an idea in mind? Do you want the ballpark to play still be a pitcher's park, but maybe be closer to the middle in terms of how it plays in terms of power?
That's the ideal. Still a pitcher's park because pitching and defense wins. This isn't so Stan can hit more home runs, right? He could hit home runs we could move the field back, and he'd still hit home runs. A lot of them. So
He'd be the only one, but
so it's not about him. It's about it can be very disheartening for players to hit a ball 410 feet and have it not go out to dead center or to sort of right of center. But it's also exciting for a young pitcher going into arbitration when they get to say, hey, I recorded a save with the 410.
So you
foot
still want it to trend towards.
It'll trend towards pitching, but we're trying to make it play more fair.
And you
But the
think
pitchers
this-
have to be on the road half the time, so you need to have good pitchers who can pitch really in any
Yeah.
dimension.
Yes, that's our plan.
Well, Heron, you saw it with Heron. I mean, he really shined here in this ballpark. When he got to Chicago, things changed a little bit. for him.
So it's okay to sign players who you think play well to your ballpark. I think that D. Gordon's a great example of that. You know, we did not lead the league in doubles. We may have been last in doubles, close to last in doubles. That's in this ballpark, you have to be in the top 5 in doubles. You just have to be. It's unheard of. We should lead the league in triples and doubles. Even after the fences are moved, we should still lead in those
You
categories.
anticipate these changes will be in
They're
place
for next
April
season.
1?
Before, the season before the
You
World
can't do
Baseball
anything once the
Classic.
season starts.
No.
They do
It has
the
to be
year
done
after.
for April.
So how soon will you have a decision?
I literally have a meeting after this.
You think
on that.
like this month, you might have a decision on what you're going to do?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
But you are doing it. It's just
We're
you don't have
doing.
those specifics yet.
That's correct. We're doing something. We just don't have specifics of what yet. We're
Maybe
working
could
on
it be
that.
ready by the thing in November, or the?
No.
Okay.
It would construction, if there were, would start after the Series de las Americas.
December.
Definitely didn't say that right.
How does it
December.
affect
Yeah.
the Miami Beach Bowl?
It does not. It does not. You can still play football no matter what we do. You can still play football and soccer. All right, guys.
Glad we got that straight.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All right.
David.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot, Dave.